Hi, it's Steve Hargadon, and welcome to Day 3 of the Global Education Conference. We are really having a blast, and we're delighted that you're with us here. Narcis, welcome. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Hi, hello everybody.
Thanks to our sponsors for the support this year. What a delightful experience it's been to have so much support and so much enthusiasm around the conference. And a great appreciation to these organizations. This is your chance to let us know where you're participating from. Look for the star icon to the left of the whiteboard. And you're going to click on that twice and then click on the board. And put a note in the chat. Let us know where you are, the time, the temperature, the weather, that kind of fun stuff. It's always delightful to see that screen light up from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Please feel free to continue to put those notes in the chat. Narcis, I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Mm-hmm. So I start, okay? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am Narcis Vives. I am a member of the iEARN network, living in Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain, and I am president of Fundació Itinerarium also. I will share with you my experiences, reflections, and projects around mobile learning and social entrepreneurship. First of all, let me introduce you the networks I belong to. I am co-founder of iEARN, the International Education and Resource Network, and Spanish coordinator from 1991 to 1997. Within iEARN, I have discovered the potential, the strength of the network for change, when we all work together, sharing a common goal. Let me share with you one of the projects I was deeply involved in 1993. During the Balkans War, from our iEARN center in Spain, we sent a computer and a modem to a Bosnian refugees camp in Savudrija, Croatia. Schools belonging to 10 different countries started communicating with kids and youth in the refugees camps. In March, we organized a Solidarity Day and invited a Catalan clown to perform for 1,000 kids and youth in the camp. His performance was so great that later he decided to create Clowns Without Borders, an NGO that is now organizing trips to refugees camps in all continents. This is the power of our network. The second educational network I belong to is Atlas de la Diversidad, Atlas of Diversity, a Latin American network that has involved 1,400 schools belonging to 21 different countries. Atlas has shown me the potential of location-based learning. The methodology of Atlas of Diversity consists in inviting groups of students to identify the most interesting treasures and problems of their homeland, country, village, city, and after a research work, they introduce their portraits, multimedia documents, into a user-friendly online template and publish them in the Atlas of Diversity database. A portrait can be an itinerary, a piece of advice from elderly people, a local language, my favorite place, a typical meal, a tradition, and also social or environmental problems. We give the same importance to both the process and the final product from the educational point of view. I also belong to the Ashoka network of fellows that work for social change, for social entrepreneurship. My presentation today will deal about the paradigm shift in education thanks to the contribution of ICT, from transmission of information to cooperative learning. I will give an example of different models of use of mobile learning, emphasizing the potential for entrepreneurial education and the opportunities of location-based learning thanks to the appearance of mobile phones with GPS and also mobile learning initiatives that help the local community develop social entrepreneurship. Mobile learning is something very new, but there is a strong impact. There is an increasing number of mobile phone users. According to the International Telecommunications Union, there were 5.3 million of mobile phone subscribers in the world in 2010. And access to mobile networks is possible for 90% of world population, 80% of those living in rural areas. According to Horizon Report 2012, mobile learning is one of the technologies that will have great impact in education next year. Easy access to information at any time and anywhere allows flexible and personalized learning experiences in which context is important. Paradigm shift in education. Tony Deiffel, in The Big Thaw, explains that we are in a time of great change in all sectors of our society. And we begin to identify concerns and movements in political, economic, and social organizations that traditionally went well, but now they are immersed in a sea of doubt. Do we have to change if we have always done well? Who can guarantee that we'll be better after changing, or at least the same as before? To illustrate this fact, Deiffel uses the metaphor of the glacier. Year after year, the glacier moves a few meters and finally breaks in fragments that drop and melt ice that goes to a tranquil lake in the altitude of the mountain. This is the change that most imagine. A quiet change, progressive, one that does not alter the normal rhythm of the processes. But what will happen, according to Deiffel, is that the entire glacier will melt and cause a flood that will drag those who are not prepared for this moment, those that are not prepared for change. How is the change we envision in education? In the old paradigm, knowledge is transferred from the teacher to the students. In the new paradigm, the knowledge is built by teachers and students working together. In the old paradigm, the students are waiting that the teacher fills them with content. And the new paradigm, the student is open to discovery, creating his or her own knowledge. In the old paradigm, learning, knowledge is individually based. It requires external motivation. In the new paradigm, knowledge is social. It requires a community to create intrinsic motivation. In the old paradigm, relationships are impersonal between students and teachers, and in the new paradigm, there is social exchange between students and teachers. And to summarize, the context in the old paradigm is competitive, individualistic. And in the new paradigm, there is cooperative learning in the classroom. The introduction of ICT into education contributes to accelerate change. We envision a long process that starts with information transmission, still present in a lot of schools all over the world, and finishes in entrepreneurial and cooperative learning. If you look at this slide, we can see that on the basic level, the teacher is situated in the center of the teaching-learning process. He or she uses audiovisual or internet material to complement his explanations. There is a lot of teaching like this. The teacher is in the center of the process. On the green level, the student starts using multimedia material to practice and learn a specific content. The student is also guided by the multimedia. There is no autonomy yet in this case. On the red level, the student uses open programs for project-based learning. He has autonomy to decide which tool to use. On the yellow level, students work in groups and use groupware for collaborative learning projects. On the last level, students participate in telecollaborative projects with peers in other schools. On this slide, you can see a progress to an increasing autonomy for the students. We encourage teachers to use methodologies that empower students to use entrepreneurial learning environments and collaborative learning. This is a slow process. We have used it in our networks, in Atlas de la Diversidad, and it takes a long time. At least 2 months for each of these levels. And we recommend to start in one level and try going to the next one step by step. Following the same schema, I will present you an example of mobile learning for each of these same stages of these levels. Teachers all over the world are situated in one of these levels according to access to technology and teaching or learning methodologies they are used to. In level 1, the blue, I'm going to explain you an example, Bridge IT facilitated by Pearson and Nokia. In this program, in this project, every teacher uses a smartphone to connect to a big library of educational videos. The mobile phone is used by the teacher to support the delivery of their classes through material. Readings, exercises, videos, podcasts. Teachers download them to the smartphone and show them in class using a projector. The project is being implemented in Chile, Colombia, India, Nigeria, the Philippines, and Tanzania. The project is in countries where the teachers are not well prepared and where there are not enough textbooks for the students. Let's move to a second level. In this level, the students use content-based multimedia programs. I have selected two examples. Algebra Touch, which is an application that facilitates the practice of basic math skills and algebra. Build a Body is another application that displays the digestive apparatus and invites you to drag the different organs of it to their rightful place in the human body. There are thousands of applications like this that help students interact and learn about a specific content. In the third level, I'm going to talk about the project Celometraje, an Argentinian experience that incorporates a mobile phone in the classroom as an active element of the student's life. A celometraje is an audiovisual product based on films or photographs created using the mobile phone camera. Students decide what to film and how to do it. They can practice and use different open programs to create their own productions. The difference in consideration to level 2 is level 2 they practice with a closed multimedia, following the instructions the multimedia gave them. And in this level, they are autonomous. They select the tools they need, and they create the kind of film they want to do. So they have the power of decision. They don't follow instructions. Let's continue to level 4. Level 4 is a good example in SMILE, which stands for Mobile Inquiry-Based Learning Environment. In this case, SMILE turns a traditional classroom into a highly interactive learning environment by engaging students in critical reasoning and problem solving, while enabling them to generate, share, and evaluate multimedia-rich inquiries. So they prepare, they ask questions, and their peers try to answer them. And they use a technology, SMILE, that help them raising and answering the questions. This is a good example of cooperative learning in the classroom. In level 5, Residencia de Estudiantes, students' residence. In this project, students use social networks like Twitter, Facebook, Google+, to reproduce the exchange of letters of a Spanish literary generation, with the students taking the role of the writers. So during 2 months, they work searching for information about the writers, taking the role of the writer, and starting exchanging information with other peers, like it was in 1927. A Spanish generation of writers. Let's continue. Well, so what we have seen with this example, with the educational use of mobile phones, these examples show us that there are different methodological models of use of mobile devices in education. We should decide which models suit us according to technology and network access, but also methodologies we believe are most useful for our students. For us, the potential is on the last levels of this scheme, promoting students' autonomy and entrepreneurship with the use of ICT and serving the local community. But you can see that we have a new opportunity here. There is a new level due to the presence of smartphones, location-based learning, anytime, anywhere. Location-based learning offers us and our students a new opportunity for learning anytime, anywhere, thanks to the possibility to connect to mobile networks and access information we have in the cloud. We can share documents with other students, with other teachers. We can participate in our social networks wherever we are. We can use different publishing information apps. We can use the digital camera. We can record audio files or use augmented reality programs. We can take advantage of location-based technologies with GPS and other sensors. So there is a new, very, very good opportunity for learning that we should try to use. When I started this presentation, I've told you that Atlas of Diversity is a network of schools where I have been deeply involved, and the most important things I have learned is the location-based learning. I'd like to present you two Atlas of Diversity experiences which show us that to help our students to succeed, we should focus not only in technology, but also in pedagogy and values. These experiences are I Know My Name, from Escuela Padre Antonio Stella, Nicaragua, and Preventing Violence with Love, Estado de Sinaloa, Mexico. I Know My Name is an introductory activity for students who live in difficult conditions, some of them having been involved in children's labor. To gain confidence, the teacher invites them to write their name on the floor, on the walls, pronounce it in different situations, ask other students' names, and initiate a dialogue with him or her. They very soon start reading and writing other words, not only their names. So this is an excellent introduction. And they have not used technology yet, but they are ready to learn. It's very important to prepare to have a good ambience for students to learn. This is another photograph of the same experience. You can see that they are the students are not seated in rows watching the teacher, but their position in the class shows that there is a different dynamics. It's very important to have that they feel very good at school, they feel very good in the classroom. But there are a lot, there are hundreds of or thousands of experience in matters of diversity. I will present you another one. Preventing violence with love. In this case, to avoid violence, students work in groups brainstorming what they should do to prevent violence. Do not fight, do not drop, do not insult, respect other people's opinion. They cooperate to solve a problem they have. They decide what to do to solve it. They are not following, in this case, their parents or their teacher instructions. This is something they have agreed, and this has more power than when the teacher says, you should do this. In the same school, another very, very good example. Fraternal embraces. In this case, the teacher asks the students to form groups of students, 3, 5, or 6, and embrace themselves each time. After a fortnight, when the student sees the teacher, he runs to her and embraces her. They are prepared for learning. So, we are not using technology yet, but this is very, very important. Entrepreneurial education. To be ready to learn, it's important that there is empathy among teacher and students. Once they have, they can build on this confidence. The teacher is not necessarily the leader. He or she works with his students doing teamwork. Learning arises from the group which is working cooperatively. But apart from entrepreneurship, we have social entrepreneurship, because we can learn and we can also contribute to our local community. In this slide, we can see a group of students of Escuela Emprender in Temuco, Chile, who visit and report about a very poor place where some of the kids live, with great respect and understanding about the difficult living conditions of their friends. This is one of Atlas of diversity portraits. I have selected only one photograph, but there is a complete multimedia document prepared by this student, which is very, very moving, and which gives us a good example of this social sensibility. Dengue, another experience from Los Castillos, Ciudad de León, Mexico. In this slide, we can see a mosquito which is the cause of a disease called dengue. The students of Los Castillos, Ciudad de León, Mexico, organized a campaign to clean the neighborhood and especially the river next to it to solve the problem. This is a very good example of social entrepreneurship, because they not only learn in the classroom, but to prepare this campaign, they have worked using language to communicate, they have gone to the river, they have studied about this disease. So it's another way of learning which is very, very interesting. But what happens when we add mobile learning to this social entrepreneurship? If we introduce mobile learning, we can also help our local community identifying environmental or social problems and disseminate local products. In this case, this is an experience of Escola Verge de la Cinta, which is situated in Tortosa, Catalonia, Spain. They are using QR codes in the garden, and they use it to identify every plant, and they add information, textual information, photographs, and videos regarding the work the students are doing the whole year. So at the end of the school year, family and friends go to the garden, and using the mobile phone, they can see what the students have done in that place, what they have learned. Using smartphones, iPhones, iPads, Androids, or tablets, we can do experiences like this one, which is created by 8-year-old students of 2 Catalan schools, Etelsis and Arrels, in Tortosa, who have created a tour for mobile phones in the historical part of the city of Solsona. There is a great potential in preparing trips like this. Students have to look for information of the different heritage monuments of the city or historical parks. They have to create videos or audios and then place it on the map, trying that the experience they prepare is emotional, that it is interesting for other people to visit the village, and we open the doors of the school to our local community using these mobile technologies. Or this other example that Tony Caceres presented the day before yesterday. This is a team of 14 students, age 14, 16, which are in risk of academic social exclusion, who have used cellular phones to build up an augmented reality game to discover the values of an Iberian old settlement, nearly 3,000 years old, in Solsona also. They investigate, they visit sites, they talk to archaeologists, they use the different pieces that are in the museum, they photograph them, and they place them in the augmented reality application, so that people who visit the site know how was the daily life in that time and which are the relics discovered by archaeologists. Then they create an app for smartphones with videos, 3D simulations, and game activities to help visitors to learn how was the settlement there 3,000 years ago. So all these experiences have been very important for us because our students can learn content, skills, abilities, and values. With a social purpose, they design projects with impact on the community. They use a wide range of ICT resources. With the mobile phone, they use the photograph camera, video camera, they record audio. There are a lot of applications that can be used to integrate into the project. They work in teams as a network, taking advantage of the strengths of the community, and with the student in the center of the learning process. The student as an entrepreneur, which is very important for us. And if we look at the pyramid, there are several levels also, because when you start the first time, maybe you follow, when you discover, you follow an itinerary that someone else has prepared. In the second level, you know about the potential of this technology. You can participate. You can participate in a forum, or you are invited to maybe to send a photograph. It's not passive, your participation. And in the next level, the next one, create. Once you know about the potential of these technologies, local-based technologies for learning, you can create itineraries for others to work and to discover interesting and emotional things. And if you have the tools to create, you can also transform your local school or the place where you live. Okay. So for us, we have discovered that this is a very innovative learning environment following OECD recommendations, because we have made learning central, we have encouraged engagement, and learners come to understand themselves as learners. We ensure in this way that learning is social and often collaborative. Be highly attuned to learners' motivations and the importance of emotions. Be acutely sensitive to individual differences, including in prior knowledge. Be demanding for each learner, but without excessive overload. We use assessments consistent with its aims, with a strong emphasis on formative feedback, and promote horizontal connectedness across activities and subjects in and out of schools. When I'm arriving at the end of my presentation, you may have realized that I have been using a special typography, Ana Beta, for some on the top of my slides. This is a letter which has been created by my daughter Ana Vives, who is a Down syndrome youth of 27. She's 27 years old. So she has an important problem. She has a disability, but she has a lot of abilities. One of these is, and she has a very nice typography. I call her the girl of the precious letter. For me, it's very important to take into consideration people like Anna, because in our classes, in our projects, I'm sure that there are people who sometimes don't talk much, but if we discover which is his or her ability, we can help them to go very, very far. So this is what I wanted to share with you. English is not my mother language. Catalan is. I also speak Spanish. I apologize if there have been problems understanding what I've told you. And now, I don't know how, but because I'm going to look at the chat.
So if you have questions,
I don't know if you have
post them in the chat, or if you'd like to raise your hand, you can look for the third icon over in the participant window. It's a hand icon. And if you raise your hand, we'll give you the microphone.
Well, I think that there is a question someone has said. You say, we should not forget Narcis. Narcis also highlighted some projects for less privileged schools. We can modify and come up with more such creative projects suitable to our communities. Yeah, you say that this is a good example for everyone. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of differences in our world, everywhere, in every country, and some schools, some people, they need our help. They need, and we should listen to them, understand them. So that's why I said that empathy is very, very important. If you don't have empathy, you can have your students sitting in front of you in a row, maybe silent, but with their minds, I don't know where, but not ready to learn, not ready to participate in projects. So that's why I wanted to highlight that mobile learning, mobile technologies, or technology is very, very important, but technology alone is not. Okay.
There's a question about applications used in the project, such as QR and AR applications. Maybe where to find them?
Yeah, well, I have used for QR code creation in Fundació Itinerarium. We have created a site. We have created this site that allows you very easily create QR codes. But there is also an editor that allows you to create dynamic QR codes. That means codes that you can modify once created. You can create the code, but every day you can change the content behind. Imagine that you have a telecollaborative project with some schools in different countries, and you have a QR code in your classroom, and every day each school makes a proposal of a recipe for the others to know. So this editor allows you to change every day the information. There are a lot of QR code platforms. For GPS, we use eduloc.net, which is a beta. In January, we will launch a new version, very, very powerful, and they have been created having in mind that it should be very, very easy for students and teachers to create professional itineraries with GPS. So maybe we can work together in this kind of projects in the future. Okay.
Did you see the question from Beth, who asks, how are the visual arts being incorporated into the cooperative learning platforms? Do you have examples?
How is the visual? Can you repeat, please? All right.
Okay, I'll copy it into the chat again. It's a little bit...
Okay, thank you. How are visual arts? No. I don't have examples. I'm sorry, but I cannot help. But there are a lot of people attending this conference, so maybe we can cooperate and give example, and one can suggest a good platform for being asked. Okay.
Thanks for that question, Beth. Feel free to reach out in the chat to others here in case somebody else has an idea. So we do have a couple of more minutes. If you have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and ask it by audio, but I think preferred here would be the chat.
Yeah.
I think we may be done. If we are, you're certainly welcome to clap. I'm hovering over the smiley face icon, and that takes me down to an applause icon. I know it's hard to see there, but I'm applauding, and you can do the same. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Narcis. Thanks, everybody, for being here and attending.
Okay, thank you.
There's still so much more coming up. We're so delighted to have you as a part of this conference. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to turn off the recording now. And we do have another set of sessions starting in 12 minutes. Take care and bye.